Easy bye. There's a speaker there. It's a speaker. Yeah,
I cannot hear you.
I say, Clinton, mute yourself. Clinton, you are disturbing this class. Mute yourself. Clinton, I am going to remove you.
I'm trying to do it, ma.
Then go to a quiet place. If you want to attend classes, go to a quiet place. So even if I ask you to pick now, is that what you do? This other person is not muted, but is in a quiet place. So I'm not hearing any noise. Please. I can't be using the whole time I'm supposed to be teaching to be correcting you. These are given please. Okay, so let's start this. I'm sorry, my internet threw me out. So I have to start again. So we are starting because I want to for us to just run through module 1. I've said it before when we started that I'm not going to be doing teaching. I'm just going to guide you. Then if we have any issues, then we raise it. Then that's how we're going to do this. This is a master's class. So you're supposed to teach yourself. So just understand that. And have even actual advantage being in ODS institution. So today we are going to look at the first module. So module 1, we are teaching, and is talking about phonetics and phonology of English there. So let's take it out. Let's look at it, the introduction. Now our focus is on module 1 of ENG841. That's what we're going to be discussing today. And we want to look at the concepts of phoneme and allophone. Then we want to also look at derivatives on phonemes and phonemic analysis. And then what's the difference between phonetics and phonology? Anyway, I think I decided to leave out phonology because most part of the work is actually about phonology. So I may just take or stop at phonetics. Then let's look at our intended learning outcomes. Hello. Ademola Lucy, you are the one disturbing now. Hello. So I think I expect to be able to differentiate between the phoneme and allophone, which I am not expecting should be strange to us. Then to identify the core element that differentiates them, and then to discuss the different schools of thoughts on phonemes and phonemic analysis, and differentiating phonetics from phonology. Then we also expect to be able to give you a perspective on the issues that we are going to be raising as we go along. So again, I will assure you that as a master's students, we expect you to be able to interrogate issues. So let's start with phoneme. Now there are many views. If you look at the course materials, there's an extensive discussion about phonemes there. So the first one is that you have the commonest definition of a phoneme is that it's the smallest sound unit that is meaningful. If we have ever be asked to define phoneme, of course, this is what essentially you would have come across, that it is the smallest sound unit that has meaning. And that is that as we go along, you will also see why it is called so. There's also been described as a bundle of abstractive features or positions between sounds. Now, again, you will see how this plays out as we look at some examples. So, can you people see my screen before? Can anybody see my screen?
No, ma.
Yes, ma'am. I can see your screen, ma'am.
I can see your screen.
Yes, we can. I can see it.
Okay, because there's something just telling me that I can see my picture now, so I was wondering why now. Okay, so we are going to be looking at the phonemes and why it is called the smallest sound unit that has that's meaningful, and then the attractive features or position between that is a bundle of abstract features or position between sounds. So as we look at it, we are going to be seeing that. So is there okay, like I was saying, phoneme is kind of distinctive. I think that is that. I think there's supposed to be a question mark after what is pardon that. Wow. So we have. Hello, can I go on?
Yes.
So we have as it has a distinctive feature, and that's why it can be identified, and it can not only be identified, but it has many implications. And this one we need to take note of that and to pull that. I am not expecting that this should be the first time we have come across first about this, but let's just assume that it is. So it is important that we know that this is what makes it to give you a definite a distinction. It has distinction based on the fact that it can have a meaning. Somebody says she cannot hear anything. Is that correct? Can you people hear me?
Yes.
Somebody is saying she cannot hear.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I don't know, maybe it's your device, please, Rachel. You check your device, please. So let's go on to the next thing here. So let's talk about the halophone. Now, it says is an element that indicates the driver realization of a phoneme. You may have a phoneme that is standing, but it can be realized as let me say now, a particular phoneme can have different ways that it is being realized. And now this realization is usually determined by its environment or the environment in which it is occurring. Now, let me see, I don't know whether that's, okay, maybe that's one of my questions. So let me not, let me not go ahead of myself. Now, let's look at the, a sound like Lee. When you look at a sound like Lee, let me see if I can use text. Okay, let's look at a sound like Lee. A sound like Lee. Let's look at this sound now. Now, if this Lee, I hope you are seeing what I'm writing. You are seeing the sound I made, right?
Yes.
You are seeing the annotation, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay,
Yes,
good.
ma'am.
So if you look at the sound like Lee, then if it is occurring like you have here, Lee. So when you look at the transcription, what do you have here? Lady. Now, if you look at this same Lee, when it occurs, I'm trying to see, I hope I got the spelling right, laden. If it occurs at laden, no, No, that's not what I mean. Lado. If your course are Lado, you will see that I think I'm not giving a good example of what I wanted to say. Okay, yeah. If your course as Lado, what you have there is that it becomes what you call syllabic. Let me see if I can get the sound here, because it's supposed to be okay. Let's just take it like this. Lido. Now it becomes, because it is syllabic, you see the way it has it is sounding different from lady. This is the point I'm making. It is sounding different from lady. Now the same, even from the same word, you see the lado, the li of la, different from the li of that ending it, that is syllabic. So this is what you call, that's when you begin to talk about allophonic variation. It is the same sound, it is the same lateral. Of course, I want to assume that you understand that this is an alveolar lateral. Is that okay? Now, what is affecting it? You see, if you look at this, it has affected this sound. The position it is now holding, it has affected this sound. So this is the point that I am making here. So when you look at it, it is the same phonemic realization, but then it has changed due to the position it is holding now. Of course, what probably most of us are used to will be the let me see. Let me see now. Let me go back to that. Okay. So maybe what some of us may be used to, maybe more like, let's look at the spot. And then you look at spot. Now, phoneticians will tell you, phonologists will tell you that these are two different sounds. So that you have spot here, but that this P here, I don't know if there's any I can do the aspiration sign. There seems not to be. Let me see if I can draw here. I don't seem to be able to. But the point is that now when you look at this sound is not correct. But I don't seem to have the C that I can change the position. Okay, let me see if you agree to draw. Okay. Yeah, okay, it's not allowing me to. It's always a problem. So the point I'm making here is it's like this now. You have, let me see, I'm having two things here. I'm having two things. So the first one is that you have a small h here, and the second one is you have the sun here. So that's what you have as this chord. But unlike in this case, where you have but in the second case where you have spots, what do you have there? Okay. So you have spot. Okay. Okay, your spot here. Then your slash here. And then you have to draw because I don't have this thing to put for the sand. So I have to draw it. So for the draw, I've signed it, but you see that this one does not have the same thing that this one has at the top. Now, what is affecting this is that because this P here is in the initial position, that's why it has what you call aspiration. Now, this one now is actually the D that become lateralized, or you have a syllabic lateral here. Now, what you have here, and then the D2, you see again, is different from this D because it that become lateralized. Because they are what you call homoorganic. That means they are occurring in the same place. So this is what you have happening in that place. Wow. Why am I doing this explanation of what you are supposed to be explaining? I'm answering my question myself. Oh wow. Oh wow, wow, wow. This is supposed to be explained in the under here. Okay, yes. This is why I'm explaining this. So I don't know why I ended up getting it on the other side. So this is it. So this is the point that I'm making. So the environment is what is motivating, what you are happening here. And this is what is the same phoneme, but then you're having a variation of the same phoneme are influenced by the environment in which it is occurring. I hope this is quite clear. Am I alone or am I with people?
We are with you.
Okay, thank you very much. So that's essentially what it is about here. So let me see here now if and see if somebody can. Oh, why is this thing just doing itself? Let me see the annotation. So I want to clean it up now. I see my connections are stable. I want to clean it up now. So let's do the first activity. So what's your view on the English phoneme? I'm assuming you have read your course material here. So can somebody give us what's their view about the English phoneme? Can somebody tell us? On the English phoneme, can somebody give us your view? So this is 28 and we have 3 activities to do in this video. This
I can't hear anything. Can anyone hear the lecture? It's like she's off.
Sorry, please. We're doing something. Before the internet threw me out again. We're somewhere. Who are giving us a view on is this sincere recording? Who are giving me their view on the is anybody attempting? Guys, this is a master's class. I need answers. I need answers. Okay, so let me go to the next thing. Let me go to the next topic. That's major views on the phone. I am not going to be teaching. I have said it and I will not stop saying this. This is a master's class. All I'm to do is to guide you. And if facilitation is for that, it's not for teaching. So you guys should just have to sit up. So this one, I'll be asking questions. If you just be looking at me as if even my undergraduate students will not be doing this. So I don't know why people are just behaving like this. Okay, so let's look at major views on the phoneme. So we have basically about 3 views that were expanded. Hello. So we have 3 that have been presented. We had the phoneme as a phonetic reality. Then we have the phoneme as a phonological reality, and then we have the phoneme as a psychological reality. So let's look at them one after the other. Now, when you look at phoneme as a phonetic reality, what do you mean? You are talking about that it has physical and distinguishing properties, like you have in the minimal pairs. Now, if you look at your minimal pairs, let's go again. I don't know, maybe I should just use draw because this text doesn't, the way it is doing. Let me see if you can use you have in, don't mind my drawing and bin. Now these are, now if you look at this, you will see that what is the difference to the meaning. What makes the difference in the meaning of these 2 words is just these 2 full names. So this distinguishes them. That is what we're talking about. Now it is the physical distinguishing property that indicates, and that's how you're able to know, okay, this is a definite pronoun, I mean full name that is standing alone. So it has there are these properties that are physical that you can see, and you don't need to begin to to query or to ask. So it
I can't hear you now.
I think her internet is bad. She's off again.
Sorry about that. I don't know. It's just doing its own this evening. Okay, so I was we're trying to talk about the minimum pairs, and I was trying to give you examples there. Then we have it also as phonological reality. Now, in this case, it's an abstraction. It's an abstraction. I don't know who is making that noise. Please do try and keep it up. Then it's an abstraction, and it's just the function that he does to distinguish meaning. Of course, this is from the preschool, like you have in what you call systemic functional grammar. Is this their own view of it, that okay, it is the functioning, it is performing in a particular point that determines its existence, its reality. Then we also have the phoneme as psychological reality. Now, in this particular case now, is showing the intention of the speaker. Now, each sound is unique to how it is used per time. And that's what it means. So it's what the speaker intends to say. And that is what determines what that thing means. So the usage is what determines what you put as whether it is a phoneme or it is not a phoneme. So if it is used in a particular way, then that's what it means. And that again is another view that some people have. So it is intention. It is what is in the mind of the speaker. That's what determines the meaning of the particular phoneme. And these are things that we really need to look at and then ask ourselves question that what do these things mean? But what we are taking further is in the next one, when you talk about the phonemic analysis and the concept of it. Now, when you look at phonemic contrastive distribution, I've tried to show you that one. Okay, when you have minimum pairs, it is showing that, okay, when this particular phoneme is occurring in this position, this one cannot occur. And I gave you the example of, like, maybe talk of bin and spin. These are the ways. Of course, you also notice that this is following the trend of the phonetic reality. And when you look at phoneme as a phonetic reality, so this is what we are expanding here when you are doing phonemic analysis, as you see here. Now, and look when you also look at the allophonic relation, it's again another type of way you analyze your phonemes. When you look at it, that okay, when this particular one occurs there, this particular one, it cannot occur there, and that in that case, it means that when you have an aspirated voiceless consonant, then you cannot, you don't have it now occurring in another place as aspirated, because when it only occurs when it happens in the first position in the word, whereas when it moves to the second position, it does not get aspirated anymore. Probably what you may have aspirated may be because is anyway, in that case, you cannot even have it aspirated because the example I gave you of spin and pin. What they see there is an alveolar sound, so it cannot be aspirated. It's only the voiceless plosives that get aspirated in the initial position. So again, you have them that they occur in what's it called now, in complementary distribution. So this one, when it occurs there, oh, this one is just because it's changed environment now. This is what it will now be. It will transform into that particular thing. So that's what we're saying. They also have things that are in fibrillation again, which is also another aspect of the phoneme as a phonetic reality. We are doing a phonemic analysis. So you look at a particular sound that is having, even it's having a single graphemic representation, but it's a diverse phonemic representation or realization. Now, depending on the usages within the same context. So, like we have in the course, you can have the example of Igbo. I know some people want to say, okay, what about bank? But that one is actually semantic in nature. But look at, you say ego or ego. You can, I think, like, okay, when we talk about schedule or schedule, now, while one is American, the other one is British. So these are the kind of the diversity you may also have in such usages. But it's the same thing, but you can see now that that particular element has changed. It has changed its nature to something else due to the way or the content, even though the same content is used, but depending on the leaning of the speaker here. So that's what we have. So you can use either of them. But of course, we discourage that here because at times it can cause confusion. Because if you don't have consistency, at times you can also have a problem of being able to present what you want to say, man. You can get people confused. So we don't want that. Now let's look at activity 2. Let's hope that we'll be able to answer me here. Because what I can see is that we are not reading, we are not prepared for this class, or we are prepared for me to come and teach, but I have said it over and over again, I am not going to teach. I'm only guide. So differentiate phoneme as a psychological reality from the chronological reality. Can somebody attempt that? Can somebody attempt that? Hello? Class, are we still here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, we are here, ma'am.
We are not answering right now. Can nobody attempt this? What is the difference between phoneme as a psychological reality and that of phonological reality?
No, ma'am. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, regards to the explanation and the little knowledge I gathered from the test, the material, ma'am.
Okay.
The changes in the mind of the hearer can change whatever the sender, which the speaker is saying, based on the psychological state of that person at the moment the speaker is delivering the message to that person. So
that's the person's state of mind. The hearer's state of mind or the speaker's state of mind.
TH.
Whose state of mind are you?
The hearer's state of mind, ma'am.
Is it an acoustic reality now?
I'm talking in regards.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yes, acoustic, ma'am. Acoustic reality, yes, ma'am. So the hearer may be getting different sound, different from what the speaker is trying to pass it across to him or her. So the phonological aspects have not really get the message very well, ma'am.
No, but even the psychological one, you're not getting it because we're talking about the intention of the speaker. Or are you mixing up with acoustic phonetics? Are you mixing it up with hello? Okay, you want to tell us your
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
When we are talking about phonemes, which has to do with the story or the relation of sound. So when it is psychological reality, that has to do with mental reality. That has to do with the intention of the speaker and the hearer, that is the receiver, or both of them. That is the mental ideology they have about that particular sound. Let's say, for instance, within their community, or let me say within their dialect or the system, the language variation. But it has to be within the speaker and the receiver, the mentality that they have about that particular sound. Why phoneme as a phonology reality has to do with the relevance of property of sounds. That is the relevance, or let me say the allophones that a particular sound might have. That is the variant of a particular phoneme.
Okay, so the variant is what you term as the phonological reality. But are you also looking at the fact that it's really functioning? What function is it performing for them? And that is the phonological, the abstract bundle of features that the element has, or the phoneme has, may be actually influenced by the bundle of features it is and what it can be used to do. You understand what I'm saying? Is it also possible that is actually it? Hello.
I can't get your question, ma'am.
I said
Anyway, I can't
that.
get your question, ma.
I said that. Is it also possible that the phonological reality is actually about the abstract bundle of features that it has? Those features it has that it determines its functionality. Because when you get to the what's it called now? When you get to the point of phonological rules, you begin to see some of these things playing out. Is that okay? So yes, it's actually the function it is performing within that particular the element is performing within that particular environment. So that is and determined by the bundle of features it has. When you look at phonological rules, you will see that each of these elements they have features, and the features affect how they are realized, or what function they perform, or what they actually do. So this is also what I think we should know. Anyway, I don't know. I have to determine that one. Whether it's psychological reality affects both the speaker and the but I don't know of the intention, because the intention cannot be that of the hearer. It can only be that of the speaker. So let us look at that specifically, and maybe we'll discuss that in the forum. Somebody can raise that, and then we'll discuss it. So maybe we interrogate that further. But I said we should actually differentiate that what we should actually provide the differentiation, and none of you have done that. So let's look at that. One is actually what is it based on the intentionality of the speaker, while one is actually based on the functionality of the element itself. So let's look at some examples of phoneme as a phonetic reality. Who wants to do that for us? Who wants to attempt that for us? Some examples of phoneme as phonetic reality. Is anybody ready to attempt that for us? Lucy, you are muted. You want to tell us? Mary Agada, you are muted. You want to tell us? I just presented them, and I'm not going to go back to it. I just presented them now. Now that I made it to standing, because I discussed it standing alone. But me, I don't know what it is with us. I just presented them. Some examples of phoneme as a phonetic reality, but we refuse it. So let's go to the next one, because I need to close the class so that I can put my family. So let's look at phonetics. Like I said, I'm going to look at phonetics. So we have three segments or types or whatever, or classes of phonetics, phonetics study. We have the articulatory phonetics, which we are mostly used to at our lower levels of study. The articulatory phonetics, so we're talking about place of articulation, manner of articulation, quality of speech production. Then we have also the acoustic phonetics. So in which it actually has three factors that help us to determine the properties of sound. We have the frequency, intensity, and duration as the three factors that actually influence the properties of sound. Then we have the auditory phonetics, which is based mainly on auditory impressions of quality, pitch, and loudness of sounds. So while the first one is actually about the production process, that's articulate phonetics, which I'm sure we have studied piece of articulation, we have studied manner of articulation, we have studied quality of speech production. We look at the next one as acoustic, which is actually the way the sound waves move within the when it is released, as it moves within the atmosphere, will I see? And of course, you use spectrographs and spectrogram to measure those. The auditory phonetics is actually about the perception of the sound. So the auditory impressions of quality, pitch, and loudness of sounds. This is what this study. So you have these different aspects of phonetics. They study these different aspects. Of course, that phonetics itself is a whole, I think, I don't know which book is that now, is a whole field all by itself. It's a whole field all by itself. Even just talking about phonetics alone, it is what most of us are used to. Then the acoustic phonetics, many of us avoid that. And auditory phonetics, that one is even a lot more abstract. Because essentially, these are the things that I think we should go and sit down and look at and expand on and try to study them. So look at the place of articulation, the manner of articulation, the culture of speech production, which I am sure we are used to, but maybe the one we are not really used to is the acoustic phonetics. That is how the sound is said, moves through the air and all of that. Then the auditory phonetics, how it is perceived by the receiver. So the person that I was talking about, once the man was talking about the receiver, and the receiver cannot be the one having the intention. It can have the interpretation. Basically, have the interpretation of the sound. And that's why it is different. So in that case, all you're talking about that psychological about is that what the person intends to speak. That is the psychological reality, but what does the person actually perceive? And that at times is also the issue. I have let me just give some example for some fun example about myself. Most time I think I learned to pick up raising my voice when I was training to be a teacher, because my supervisor would be saying that they cannot hear my voice at the back of the class. So I think somehow I raised my voice and it became permanently high like that, trying to make sure students could hear me. And now it has become a problem for me, because when I'm able talking normally to people, they will say, no, I'm raising my voice. And it is not intentional. So now I was speaking normally, but somebody that is perceiving is actually hearing something that is loud. They now say, am I calling you? What's your problem now? But that's not what I tend to do. So that also will give you an idea of what is the difference between the psychological reality we are talking about in the study of phonetics. So the acoustic, what actually is released, then what is perceived. So what is the difference? So let's look at the activity 3. I hope we'll be able to participate in that, so that we can also use the remaining time to try and discuss and round up. So give a brief description of what is involved in the manner of articulating sounds. In the manner of articulating sounds, who wants to tell us? What? Just give me 1 or 2 examples. I think I will understand whether you know what we're talking about here. What is involved in the manner of articulating sounds? Can someone just give me 1 or 2? Okay, Onyechi. Onyechi, please go ahead. Onyechi, your hand is raised. Please go ahead.
Me on mute. All right, ma. When we talk about the manner of articulation of articulating sounds, we're talking about how our speech organs produce sounds. For instance, the way some consonant sounds are produced differs. We have the voiced sounds and we have the voiceless. Some are produced when the 2 lips come in contact, for example, the bilabial plosives. So that is a manner by which the pa and the ba.
Which of them is the manner? Which of them is the manner? Okay,
the manner
finish.
is how the sound is produced. That is the manner, how the sound is produced with the speech organs, how the speech organs produce those sounds. And I talk about the bilabial sounds, the bilabial plosives, the pa and the ba. The 2 lips come in contact. So that's the manner thereof is the articulator there is the lip, the upper and the lower lip coming in contact. Then the vowel aspect, we talk about whether the sound is produced with the mouth closed, spread, or partially closed.
Okay, Daniel, you do not agree, or you want to expand?
Okay, let me just add a little thing. So let me talk about the manner of articulation of consonant speech sounds. I can say that manner of articulation is concerned with the behavior of airstream coming from the lungs, and they could behave in the following manner during production. The airstream could be obstructed or impeded or unhindered. And as a result of this, the articulators are modified when are modified in the manner of articulation. And we have such modifications such as affricate, and we have plosives, we have nasals, we have approximants, and so on. So this is the much I can say.
Okay. So for you guys now, the manner is not clear to me. Exactly what is the manner is not clear to me. If I have some examples, I will know that you know what it is. Which are the sounds and what are the manners? You are telling me articulators, what is modified in the extreme, not the articulators. The articulators, the way they position themselves is modified in the extreme. So, but what we are talking about here is that when you talk of manner of the production of the sounds, what are we talking about? Can you give me examples of sounds that are produced and that is showing their manner of production?
Now, can I say something?
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm talking to you. Who is the person that want to say something?
Smith Clinton.
Okay, please go ahead.
Okay, talking about the manner of production, it has to do with the way the pulmonic aggressive air is escaped from our articulators. For an example, talking about the plosives, we can find out that when the pulmonic aggressive air gets to the articulators, which is the upper lip and the lower lip, it forces pressure behind the articulators. And when the air is escaped, it comes out with a pop sound.
Okay.
That's all about manner of articulation.
That's not the only one. Now you're giving only one example and you say, yeah, that's all about manner of articulation.
Okay. Another example, is the fricative sounds. That is when air is gathered in the mouth and then released gradually, not forcefully, unlike plosives. So example of the fricatives are the f and the v sound. Though they might differ, some might be voiced, some might be voiceless. We have and then we have, yes. Then we have affricates too. That is the combination.
You have what? You have what?
Affricatives. The combination of plosives and affricatives.
It's affricates you have. We don't have affricatives. There's nothing like that. It's affricates you have.
Okay, madam. We have affricates, the combination of the plosives and the fricatives. For example, ch and j.
Okay. Okay. Daniel, you have something else to add?
Okay, let me talk again on the manner of articulation. Let me talk about the affricates. They are produced when the articulators entirely block the vocal tract and then let go slowly in a process allowing a narrow space in the mouth for air flow to take place. And examples of affricates are the speech sounds ch and ch. For example, in the word check, where we have ch and church, and ch, where we have joke, join, and so on. Then the fricatives are produced with no total or entire blockage of air passage or vocal tract, but with narrowing of the vocal tract, causing a friction, which is had as a continuous air. For example, and so on.
Now, what is it different from the person that spoke and give me this example?
Okay, I just wanted to throw more light on it, and also the nasals. The nasals are produced with the volume raised, which means that air flows through the mouth. They are oral sounds produced when the volume is raised, but nasal sounds are when the volume is lowered and air flows through the nose. Example of nasals are m, n, and ng.
Okay. Now it's through Onyechi, you want to add something?
Yes, ma'am. I want to talk about the manner of articulating vowel sounds. Now,
I have three things there. You are talking on the only one. Oh, yeah, go on now. Tell us.
I want to talk about vowel sounds, ma.
Okay.
When we talk about the manner of articulating vowel sounds, the lips may be round, neutral, or spread. And when we look at the vowel charts, then
there's only one manner of articulating them, right? And that is that they are free flow of the sounds through the oral cavity. There's no other one. It's when it gets nasalized, then part of the air escapes through the nose. So is you have only manner under consonants. So don't let us always say one another's time. So the essential factors used to describe sounds acoustically will be what? Who wants to give us that answer? The essential factors used to describe sounds acoustically. Who can give us? Daniel, Kereke, you want to answer that?
I want to. Yes, the essential factors used to describe sounds acoustically will be the duration, frequency, and intensity.
Okay.
That is, they describe the properties of a sound.
Okay, let's just take note of that. Let's look at the third point here. The study of sound auditorily will be done using three measures. Name them. So who wants to attempt that? Yes. And how you think they affect sound perception? Who is giving us that?
The measures will be quality, pitch, and loudness of sounds.
Okay, good. So that means you are following what we're talking about here. So please, let's just take note of this since I always say, but I said that name that how you think they affect sound perception. So what do you think they accept sound perception? Hello? Who wants to tell us that?
How they affect sound perception is that they signal to the brain through the parts of the ear, which is the outer ear, the middle, and the inner ear.
Okay. How do these three things, these three measures, how do you think they affect sound perception? Okay, so that's another matter I want to discuss in because I gave an example of myself here, but I'm not sure it's actually following that. So do you have questions or anything you want to discuss? Do you have questions? Somebody was telling me they have a question before. Somebody told me last week that he has a question. Nobody?
Ma, I don't have a question, but I just, can I go ahead, ma? So it's not a question.
Yes, quickly, because it's already after 9.
Okay. Now, remember last week you said Mr. Sylvester should form a group or something of that nature.
He has already, he has.
He has added me to any group, ma. And I sent my number that very day. I've not been added to any group.
Okay. Is he around?
I don't think so, ma. He's not around today.
Okay. Quadri, are you not in that group? Okay. Did you pick my number that day?
I
I'm
did,
not in the
ma.
group, ma.
You said what?
I picked your number, ma, that day.
Okay, so send yours to me. Let me add you. I think he made me an
All right.
admin, so I can add you.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have not been added. This is my first time joining the class.
Quadri, oh yeah, give them your number. Let them send it to you. I will go to your admin so that you can be adding them. Ah,
Okay.
no,
Okay.
people should not add you up.
Okay, ma.
So oh yeah, Quadri, send them your number. Then they will send it to you.
I wasn't
Then
also added.
I'll make you add. You said what?
I wasn't also added.
Okay. Quadri, oh yeah.
I wasn't added as well.
Oh. Then he sent the link. I don't know where he sent the link to. And I think I also sent it to your email. You person did not receive the email.
No.
I didn't receive any email, ma.
I said people should activate your email. All of you have email with your matric number. Your matric number
Yes,
has
ma, but
and that is the only thing we use to communicate. I've said this, I cannot say it enough. So Cody has sent his number. So you should say I'll look for him there and make it. I think your WhatsApp name is also Cody, right? Am I correct? Even people that are not even in this thing. You see now, only 15 people. See, with all the people that are in the class, only 15 people. I think Cody, you're already a member, right? Cody, you're already in the chat here, right? Cody,
Ma, I'm not in the group, ma.
you are not?
Yes, ma. Yes, ma. I'm not in the group.
You are not? How are you now going to add them if you yourself you are not there?
I think you want to add me up so that I can add other people. Anybody send me to me, the number to me.
Okay, let me
If you
look.
can,
Then what did you now add? All of you are in the class. So you not send your number that day. Let me see if I can get your number.
We did. We sent our number with the mindset that he was going to add us up, but he didn't.
Yeah. And I've been seeing people entering that class. So 94300. And you say if the other people did not complain now. What do you?
ma, yes.
I'm trying to add you now. Have you pick up all the other people's own name? Make sure you put your name more so that I can add you. 003-941-3800. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I will add you now and make you admin so that add your colleagues. I mean, I don't know which people is now adding because it's all this kind of thing. Very easy, something like this. It has become. I see him now today. He's not even in the class. Let me see. Add Audrey. Okay. So I've added you. I'll just make you. I'll make you group admin. You can add everybody in the class. Is that okay? Okay. Okay. So good. So if there's no any other issue, then I think we can call it a day so that I can go and cook. Huh? Okay. Take care, everybody.
All right, ma'am.
Thank you.
It's okay, ma'am.
Yeah.